Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name is Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energy, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. Let's get started is what the cards are saying. All right, let's get started indeed. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Outcome and advice. Outcome and advice. Okay. Boy, that's a chaotic outcome. We'll do the best with that. Let me turn the cards over. See what we're working with here. Okay, in the overall energy, we've got the Five of Pentacles in reverse, the Queen of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. Pentacles, fire, and air. Okay, earth, fire, air. Five of Pentacles reverse is my card for self-abandonment, when you abandon yourself. Tell me more about this Five of Pentacles in reverse. Self-abandonment. Wow. Five of Pentacles in reverse with the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. Love doubles, triples, repeating numbers, cards. Okay, so I'm getting a couple messages here. So the first one is, it feels like I'm talking to somebody who was has a habit, has an aspect where you abandon yourself. Maybe you were taught to abandon yourself, to not care for yourself, to care for others. And what I'm seeing here is, it feels like you might be abandoning yourself for your work. Ooh. Some type of painful experience, betrayal. It feels like you might be focusing on work to not have to process painful betrayal, to not have to look at it. This does feel like a little like I'm just not going to look at it. I'm not going to acknowledge it, and then it's not there. I'm semi-conscious and aware of some type of betrayal. But it feels like I don't know how to process it. I don't know how to integrate that. Yeah, and so it feels like you might be focusing on work so you don't have to acknowledge, deal with this. Three of Swords is the challenge to this energy. Boy, Seven of Swords. There's a need to be tactical. I get the feeling that it's like willful ignorance. I don't know how to process this in reality, in the 3D. Some type of betrayal, heartbreak. There's all this deception going on. But it feels like you can't really communicate what's going on. It's a mixture of you unable to really acknowledge in the 3D that there's some type of abandonment, some type of betrayal. Feels like you abandoned yourself for someone else. I'm tuned in, you're working. Just focus on trying to keep something, maybe even trying to keep this connection together, and lost yourself in the sauce. For some of you, it's focusing on what your job is, what work is. And some of you just keep trying to make something work with someone. And I get why, because you put so much time, so much effort into this connection. You've even abandoned yourself for this connection. And so having this person that you've given up everything, even yourself, to have this connection, have this relationship, for them to create a betrayal. It feels like communication is off, like you can't really get real communication here. It feels like you're abandoning yourself is now creating a scenario where you're being abandoned, you're being betrayed. What's the Queen of Wands? For me, the Queen of Wands energy is someone who accepts all parts of who she is. She follows her excitement, her desires, and she's very charismatic. She has learned to accept all aspects of herself, even uncomfortable truths. And so she it's very attractive, someone who owns who they are. Not that type of like, I'm just this way, you can't fake it. Not that. That's someone just obnoxious. And I'm talking about someone who's willing to see things about themselves, see their mistakes, make really good mistakes and learn from them, and evolve and grow and expand. Okay, so how does this fit into the story? Okay, so what I've got here is a continuation of the story. It feels like you don't have your maybe resources. There's a lack of financial stability here. You've got this new energy of truth. This is the medicine, not to fix this relationship, but the truth cuts both ways. It feels like if you're willing to see uncomfortable truths about this relationship and about yourself, that's how you create justice, cut yourself free, create freedom. There's a need to protect yourself and move to calmer waters. Just speak truths. I'd say less. This feels very confusing. And you have, energetically, it feels like you have not centered yourself, but you've centered someone else in your experience. You start vibrating, and everything is about this person. Everything is about this connection. You lost yourself in the sauce. You lost yourself in the feeling. Maybe you were taught that this is how you have a relationship. This is how you relate. You enmesh, and you aren't an independent person with your own energy. Maybe that's how you were raised, to abandon yourself for a relationship, in relationships. But what I'm seeing here is, because there's this belief that if I abandon myself completely, give myself completely, then that's what I will receive in return. That this person too will abandon their individuality, and we will mesh together, and whenever I need help they'll support me, and it's not that way. It looks like you let go of who you are, and you're not standing up for yourself. You're not protecting your own interests. You put all your eggs in this relationship basket. And so energetically, what this sets you up for is to be abandoned. When you abandon yourself, it's like there's permission. You're showing people how you feel about yourself, that you're not enough, that you don't have value, that you need this other person to fulfill you, to make you complete. So what I'm seeing here is it looks like someone who's learned from that, or learning, maybe in the process of learning from that. Feels like you're saying less would be advisable to protect your interests, to realize immediately, as soon as you can, that this person who you were giving everything up for is taking advantage of your lack of boundaries. And this feels brutal. Like abandonment. This feels like, for a lot of you, this is the worst case scenario. The worst thing that could happen. Why you were trying to make this work was you didn't want to be abandoned. And it's like focusing on, if you're riding a mountain bike down a trail and there's a huge boulder in the middle of the trail, if you focus on that boulder, there's a boulder, then you hit it. So I'm not talking about just ignoring, because it feels like kind of like, no, I'm not seeing that. Kind of was part of what got you into this space where you've abandoned your wants, your needs, what makes you happy, what makes you an individual. So I'm saying something like going down that trail, seeing the boulder, clocking it, and then where do I go around it? How do I get around this? Do I bunny hop over? Do I swerve to the left, to the right? Fight. So, all right. So I'm getting that this is a real opportunity for you to learn from your mistakes. Really embody that Queen of Wands energy. All right, 9 of Swords is being stuck in a comfort zone. Maybe this type of relationship is a comfort zone. You might have all these fears that are keeping you settling for, there's some type of comfort. It's familiar, that's comfortable. So, but it feels like not much else. It feels very small. Feels like existing or surviving, but not really enjoying life, not really being full of life. Yeah. 8 of Wands, 2 of Wands, and both in reverse. There's no passion, no energy, no footwork, no energy at all. It feels like you're in this comfort zone relationship, tolerating, accepting that this is as good as it gets. It feels like you have given up what makes you, your spark, what you want for you, not for a relationship or what you want to create for someone else, but for you. What lights your fire? It feels like it's been a long time since your fire's been lit. And for some of you, I mean the funnier version too, or maybe not so funny. It feels like a long time since you felt um, like yourself, with your own desires, your own wants, your own needs. And it feels like in this environment with this relationship, like you're not allowed to say no. So this person is not your partner. They're somehow over you. This doesn't feel like an equal partnership. It feels like you've given everything up to stay in this connection. It must feel, when I've been in something similar that I'm tuning into, I remember feeling so afraid, really afraid of, because I put 12:12 on the clock. What song is this going in my head? It's Fleetwood Mac. Well, I've been afraid of changes 'cause I've built my life around you. That you built, so all of your energy is in this person. You're enmeshed. It's hard to tell where you end and they begin. How about a psychic tool that might help you on your journey? I use these tools every day to help create energetic separations so I can continue to find myself and not be so influenced by others' energies. So, whoever this is, let's go ahead and imagine. Let's have some fun. Nothing serious going on. And you just close your eyes. Find the way to the center of your own head. First, find your own center of head space. Bringing your conscious awareness between your ears and behind your eyes. Your energy is translucent, like translucent glass. If anybody is in the center of headspace with you, create a door, open the door, and kick them out. Nobody should be in the center of headspace with you. This is your captain's chair. Nice. So many of you are kicking out so many people out of your center of headspace. This is your space to make your decisions for you. Nice. So even one step further, taking a broom, and if there are any clumps or lumps of energy, just go ahead, not only sweeping the floor, but the walls, all the way around to the windows, to the walls. Clean all those doors. Oh, okay. So there's a lot of fun coming into that center of headspace now. And lightness and laughter is so much better than serious energy. And that goofiness, silliness really helped you clear out anything that you do not prefer, and helped you really bring in your own translucent, beautiful energy. Great job. Okay, so now from this space, let's go ahead. I'm going to give you a couple psychic tools. Outside your aura, just imagine a balloon floating there. Nice. And in that balloon, you're going to put a magnet. Just imagine, we're just playing. And with the intention that this magnet is going to pull from your space. You're not doing anything. You're just going to watch as the magnet pulls out of your space that person, whoever I've been talking about in this reading, their energy out of your space. And so your only job is to sit here and watch that balloon get larger. Get curious, like how much of this person's energy has been in my space. Look at it being, their energy being pulled out of my space and into that balloon. Look how huge that balloon is, like a hot air balloon size. For some of you, it's even larger. So now that their energy is out of your space, go ahead and explode it. And their energy then goes back to their space. So that's getting their energy out of your space. Now create a golden sun over your head, just like it sounds, a gold sun right over your head. And putting a magnet inside that golden sun with the intentions that you unscatter your energy. You bring your energy from that other person in this reading's space back into this golden sun, bringing your energy. You're just unscattering your energy. You saw how much of their energy was in your space. Now you get to see how much of your energy has been in their space. Nice. So watch how large that golden sun gets. As big as a house, an apartment complex. Nice. Once you have all your energy back from that person's space, you can go ahead and pop that golden sun and allow all that your own beautiful energy to be absorbed into your space, to fill in anywhere you need that energy, filling it all the way out to your aura, arm's length out around you. Nice. So you can go ahead and come back out of that little meditation. I hope that's helpful. The energetic separations, the balloon and the golden sun, center of head, definitely clear this person's energy, clear everybody out of that space so you can be in your center of head space. And then start creating energetic separations so your peanut butter gets out of their chocolate. I do this with everyone. I do this professionally in personal readings. After the reading, I'll put a balloon out for that readee, the person I just read, and then I bring my energy back so they can go away free and clear. I do that with family members, with friends, so I can find my space, my energy. So, all right, I hope that's helpful for those of you who might need that. And I use that tool all day long, not just once and then I'm done. I just continually do it. And especially if you're thinking about that person, if there's someone that's just constantly up in your business, up in your energy, creating separations is helpful for both of you. So they can go away and do what they need to do, and so you can have all of your energy. You can't work with other people's energy, and it has you feeling depleted and exhausted because you're trying to work with energy that's not yours. So when you're full of yourself and complete and whole, then you can do a lot more. All right, let's move on to what's hidden. 8 of Swords. This is a mental limitations, mental blocks. 7 of Pentacles. This feels like you were blocked off. You had limited beliefs, and your beliefs were that you needed to focus all your time and attention on relationships. That was working. That's how you make it work. I just need to try harder. I need to work harder on this. I need to focus more on this. And that belief there feels like how this person took advantage of those beliefs, of you not really tuned into the reality of what's going on with this person in this relationship, but there's some goal that you have, like, I need to make this work. This needs to be my happily ever after. This has to be my person. And so if it's not showing that way, then I need to fix something. I need to make it. And so instead of seeing and perceiving red flags and this isn't working, it feels like when you see a red flag, it gets you working harder. All right, what would be helpful for whoever is... Okay. That was weird how it came out. Okay, there we go. This looks like it's a family energy that I'm kind of tuned into here. A celebration, family energy that's out of balance. Detaching, it looks like they're detaching from devil energy, from toxic, codependent, obsessive type of energies. Tell me more about this out of balance, impatience, rushing, reactive. Ooh, this feels like a group seeing some type of an imbalance and addressing it very quickly with, yeah, there we, yeah, Tower. There's some false reality that's collapsing. It feels like within a family or friend group that's very out of balance. It's like they're rooting out the toxic energy. Okay, wait. Okay, yeah. As I'm perceiving it, these messages in what's hidden, it looks like there's some family or friend group that's related to this relationship, integral, important. It feels like there's a story that you're the toxic one, that something is that you're toxic, that there's some type of fog of confusion. First of all, these are, if they were this easily turned against you, they weren't really your friends anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? There's some type of sacrifice. It feels like that you're being abandoned. This feels like blame. People who can't address their own issues, and it feels like you're a convenient target. You're convenient to blame for whatever issues there are. Someone who's really insecure. It feels like whoever this is, this very well might be who you're in a connection with, that you abandoned yourself for. Yeah, it feels like you're being expelled from an environment that you're being shown the door. This feels very upsetting. That it collapses your reality, because it feels like you have been focusing on this. You're it's so confusing, because this is everything. You've put all your eggs in this basket, and it's devastating to have It's devastating. And it feels like you're seeing that these people are not your friends. They aren't for you. It's a rude awakening kind of energy. It is devastating because it feels like there's what you've been working on realizing is a false reality. That you've abandoned yourself and you've spent all that time building what you thought you were building, a family, an environment, a happily ever after, and instead to have that all wiped away, it feels upsetting. What is hard to tune into is all the new energy that's coming in, new insights, new inspiration, truth. These are uncomfortable truths to see. They aren't the happy, make you feel good truths. They're the truth. But the thing about the truth is you can work with it. You can ground it into reality. You can build on the truth. This false reality stuff, trying to fix something that's just not even grounded into this reality, is something you can't work with that energy. It's not real. It's a fantasy. It's a delusion. It's an illusion. All right, but there's new opportunities. It feels like what I'm seeing is this is being done for you. So you see that these people and this way of this programming that you've been operating off of, that you have to give up all of who you are to be something for someone else doesn't work. I think you've shown yourself that so it feels like some deprogramming, deconstructing family of origin, belief systems. It's a lot. And it feels like there's this new energy coming in. All right. In the outcome and advice, we have the Queen of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Wands, and the overall energy. Ace of Cups in reverse, Three of Wands, and Moon reverse. The challenge is the Knight of Wands. Getting that fire back in your belly. Having desires that are yours, not collective desires, not you working on and manifesting for a group, but for you. Finding your own energy again. It looks like there's a lot of inner work with the queens showing up. 3 queens in this. Queen of Pentacles in reverse came out. This feels like a lot of internal shifts, a lot of shifting how you relate to yourself, it feels like I'm not going to abandon myself anymore as a lesson here. I'm going to invite the truth, even if it's uncomfortable or painful or revealing to me, because the truth I can work with. Deception and manipulation and false reality, there's no change to that. I think you've learned that what is not love. It is not loving to abandon yourself. You can't give from an empty cup. You were never meant to be a support character for others. You're not meant to tolerate people playing in your face. It feels like there's some... This feels like when you start taking action, taking steps towards the version of you that you prefer to be, and out in the world you start making actions toward being the person right now that you want to be, even though you might not be living that yet, it feels like you step very quickly It feels like the change happens a lot faster than expected. If you allow it, if you allow this to transform you, if you perceive this as this is happening for me. This isn't happening to me, this is happening for me, so I could wake up and see that this person's not your friend. These people are not supporting you. And it feels like over time, some of you, it feels like, are trying to analyze and get every bit of information before you make your decision, and you can't see the fullness of this until you get some distance because you're too energetically enmeshed. And that's also, this person is taking advantage of that because they're playing in your face because you can't see them correctly because you're so close. You're so enmeshed that you're not even, what's your energy and what's theirs is all confused. But over time, and with consciously separating your energies, you don't have to do it the way I showed you, but also cord cutting would be good. Separating it more and more, healing will come up, and a lot of emotions. A lot. Moon reverse. A lot of hidden emotions will come up. A lot of repressed emotions, a lot of fury, of being played in your face, of tolerating, of being really resentful, of your boundaries being crossed, of not being heard, of not being cared for. There's a lot of emotions, so it feels like it's a little bit at a time. It's not, I see everything and now I know it all and I'll make decisions on that. It's, I'm getting more and more clear as I go. I'm getting more and more allowing the emotions to come up and process them and just be with them. If you want to use this to your advantage, as quickly as you can, stop blaming this other person and start taking accountability for the choices you've made. Because if you take accountability, responsibility for your choices and where you are, then you are saying, I can use my energy how I prefer. I have access to my energy and I can create what I prefer. And then you become much more powerful. Does that make sense? All right, I'll leave that there. What I'm getting is there's healing. It's slow going. Sometimes your answers will be, you'll be able to see it clearly and understand, and sometimes you won't be able to use your higher chakras. You'll have to use your intuition, your lower chakras. And in the environment and the type of relationship you've been involved in is disregarding how you feel chronically. Abandoning yourself, abandoning how you feel in order to keep this connection alive. Because it feels like this other person is unmovable. They refuse to change, so you did all the changing and they stayed the same. Stunted. Immature. At this point, maybe unable to change. All right, I think I'll leave it there. All right, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.